Wow, that's a wild title, isn't it? So, what on earth is the point I'm trying to make today? I promise you, it's not nearly as crazy as the title would have you believe, and it will add next to nothing in terms of your mental workload. If anything, you're much more likely to find vast emotional returns. Because this is about ultimately severing the strings attached to intimacy inside our marriages. Now, to be clear, this isn't across the board. This isn't about accepting a lack of maturity or accountability in other major arenas of life. This isn't about rewarding men who maybe have repeatedly fumbled or lost your respect. And it's not about offering up pity as a band-aid for past grievances. This is about genuinely reconnecting with a man who you know deep down is a good man, but for whatever reason you've been holding back. As always, if you haven't, I encourage you to check out my first video where I lay out some ways we, as women, can address the root causes of a lack of desire. Because by and large, contrary to the current cultural narrative, I do not believe women bait and switch good men on purpose. I do not believe women want passionless marriages, messy divorces, and struggling single motherhood. What I do believe is that by and large, women in these situations don't fully inspect why they've allowed these behaviors to creep in at all, let alone take steps to address them. Which is why so many end up in a spot where they then see divorce as the only reasonable option they have left. But what if it's simpler than that? What if all you have to do is make him into your pet? No, I'm not talking about patronizing him, infantilizing him, or subjugating him. I'm literally talking about petting him, just like you undoubtedly do with your actual pets if you have them. You run your hand over their head when you walk by. You offer a belly rub if they nudge your leg. You'll even seek them out all the way across the house simply because you want to give out that affection. It's automatic and freely enjoyed by both parties. There's hardly any thought given. This is a habit we should get into with our spouses as well. I know the title is explicit, but we should be just as generous with our non-sexual touch. Hugs, kisses, caresses in passing, running a hand across his back while you ask him about his day. Now, obviously, there will be instances where these touches escalate to more. However, I promise you, if you give him the same amount of attention as the average person I know does their actual pets, no man's appetite is that voracious. And what I'm encouraging isn't nearly as daunting as it sounds. Going back to what I keep sharing about oxytocin bonding and our reward pathways, it will become just as much of a treat for you as it is for him. You'll seek him out for these things, just like you do the dog or cat or whatever your favored critter may be. But I want you to imagine trying to bond with any of these creatures without touch. Envision attempting to become a dog's favorite person with sight and sound alone, by pushing them away whenever they seek the reassurance of your contact. It sounds absurd, and even cruel, doesn't it? Why have a pet at all if you only intend to deny them closeness and comfort in your presence? Oof, then how much worse is it to inflict such a fate on a fellow human being with the capacity for self-awareness, reflection, and insecurity? That touch you have expected him to simply learn to do without is validation that he is loved and his existence is wanted. Without it, he is, and I hope you'll forgive my dehumanizing language for the sake of the analogy, the dog languishing outside the house on a chain, trapped in a cold and loveless alienation while he watches the world pass by him on the other side of the fence. Ladies, I'm begging you, be better than this. Love your man without condition, because I guarantee you, no one else is. Not the way he needs it, and not the way we as wives are meant to give it. There's no downside, no added burden for this, not really. And it will only compound naturally over time with the added payoff of receiving the exceptionally rare sort of love and adoration that surely follows from the meeting of these deeply emotional needs, which only present as physical on the surface. So I hope this encourages you today that intimacy doesn't need to be a chore, that it can be cultivated, and that it's important to do so. And until next time, my friends, take care.